Welcome back from that short break. Steve Okwori is still here with us. He's a security, safety and crime management consultant, and we're talking about the ban on anti-open-grazing law enforcement in BENUE State and how it can help in ensuring that the security architecture, the federal security architecture, would indeed come in and do its work without the enforcement agents, the anti-open-grazing enforcement agent. Let's just go from the beginning. I mean, we've always heard about the BENUE killing, and it incited sympathy among Nigerians.
Yes.
But it has recently become something to expect in the papers. Oh, this number of people have been killed and all of that. It's unfortunate, but it is as we have seen it. Why are we still having recurrent attack in BENUE State?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me once again. First of all, my heart goes to the families of people that have been killed in the last 3 weeks in BENUE. It's so disheartening that their loved ones just die for nothing, you know. I want to say that may the souls of the 134 persons so far reported, may their souls rest in peace. You see, BENUE and the alarming rate in which the indigents or citizens of BENUE are being killed, this is not the first time. We have been having those issues long before now, where it is alleged that suspected herdsmen come into BENUE and go into these rural communities and begin to kill innocent citizens, especially women and children.
Exactly.
For instance, the one that happened in the Idoma-speaking area, they were mostly women and children, you know. So it's so unfortunate that these things are happening. And the unfortunate thing is that we cannot keep doing the same thing and we expect a different result. I want to believe that with this experience, it has been happening, we would have learned from the occurrence, you know, and to see how we would have been able to manage the issues, you know. But unfortunately, these things keep happening. And the BENUE State governor's hands are tied, if you ask me, because he will tell you that he is just a chief executive officer of the state, but not the chief security officer of the state. You know, that it's on the president that issues directives to law enforcement agents to see how to checkmate whatever that is happening here in the state. We have seen where a lot of people have been killed, both in the Tiv speaking part and the Idoma speaking part. The governor or the state government has tried to see how to put up their own state security volunteer group of young men and able-bodied men and even some elderly amongst this group to see how to follow up on this. But for me, they are not even yielding result, if you ask me.
It's because they are not equipped enough.
Yes.
With training and all that's necessary to curb that kind of attacks.
Yes, they are not well equipped. They are, in short, they are not even equipped at all. You know, you go back on military training or police training and all that, and you come out without bearing arms. How will you now be able to tackle or face the opponent that are coming with all kinds of sophisticated arms and ammunition? You know, so they are not well equipped, if you ask me. You see them, they train them with just artificial guns, if you ask me, wooden guns and all that. They are not trained with guns that are supposed to be firing, you know. So if you deploy such people and to go and see how to man various communities within BENUE, how do they now begin to fight against these armed invaders that come to see how to take away lives and destroy properties for just no reason?
Well, the BENUE State House of Assembly also passed in 2017 the BENUE State Open-Grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Law. And we're hoping that with the passing of this law in the state, there will be implementation that could have worked. I mean, having the federal architecture, security architecture, charging in there, because it has become a very dire situation where people are dying needlessly. How has that helped? This grazing that has laws that prohibit this law rather that prohibits open grazing in the state. We thought we would see some sort of breath of fresh air. We are not seeing that.
Yes.
Is it because the governor is complacent? He's not taking it seriously enough? Because I should expect that, like you have said, how can you have the local volunteers not equipped enough if you cannot trust the police, the military and all of that? How can you then have that and you still do not equip them enough?
Yeah, you see, even as we speak, the anti-open-grazing law is in place, but there are killings going on. So is it about the law? For me, it's not about the law. The marauders that went to kill innocent people in an IDP camp, what has that got to do with the anti-open-grazing law?
But it has become over the years. It has become a problem. The marauders are there because they want to be able to graze peacefully, and I'm not sure what really. I think that should be my next question. Yeah. What really triggers these attacks?
Now, the people that are in the IDP camp, did they in any way stop the open grazing?
Of course not.
Of course not. So I think these are just, if you permit me, blood-sucking demons that are just trying to see how to kill innocent people.
Have they become so faceless that they can't be apprehended?
They are faceless, if you ask me. When no arrest is made, we don't even know. Each time you hear in the news, suspected. Let us see them. Who are these suspects that you have arrested that have usually come into BENUE and kill people? Up to 300 in 3 weeks, 134 in 5 days.
5 days.
You understand? So who are they? We keep suspecting headsmen. None is caught. So until, you see, I keep saying it in any forum I find myself. People or criminal elements that embark on this kind of heinous act, they are always ahead of our law enforcement. When these attacks have been carried out, innocent people die, they will just find their way in and just go uncaught. So that is when our own law enforcement agents now begin to react to the already damage that has been done. You know, so if these killings happen in the middle of the night, before morning, that is when our law enforcement agents begin to go there. What are they going to do at that point in time? You know, of course, you won't find any trace of people or the criminal elements that have come to execute that. You know, so, and that is why I keep saying that our local vigilante, the ones that the government has put together, they need to be armed. See, now the governor is asking for the president to deploy troops and all that. If the troops now are being deployed, will they remain there forever? They will not remain there forever. After a week or 2 weeks or so, they will now go back to their other duty post. You know, but if you allow local vigilante to handle these guns and ammunitions and other weapons, they will remain there within the community. In the event of any possible attack, right, there will be reprisal. But in this situation, the military will be there, the police will be there. After a period of time, they will go.
Leave, right?
So who now protects the other ones that are other citizens that are living there? Nobody. So this local vigilante needs to be equipped. I think we know the solution. Why won't we now approach the solution?
Which would be? What would your solution be?
Number one, try and see how to empower the local vigilante. We need to empower them. I've said it times without number. Vigilante lives with us. He lives amongst our local communities. There's no security presence in our rural communities. There's no security presence. If you go to my community in BENUE there now, my rural community, there's no presence of a police officer there. But if you ask me, there is presence of vigilante, unarmed. So why won't we now put them in the way and manner the government has done it in BENUE? You know, they are known, they are documented. There are one or two guarantors have signed on their behalf and all that before they were enlisted into the volunteer security groups that the government had established.
Right.
You know, so with that, and when they are armed in my community, any attack that comes, You know, at least we will see the effort that they will make in either apprehending one or killing one. At least we will now begin to look at their nature. As in, if they are Fifulanese, if they are our own indigenes, and if they are from anywhere they come from, at least we'll be able to look at the way their manner they look. Exactly. You know, we can be able to trace. But these ones, they just come, strike at their own time, and leave at their own time without no arrest.
Would you say there are certain communities in your research, or I should expect you've done some sort of research? Would you say there are communities in Benue State that are more susceptible to these attacks, or it's just it's a
random thing?
Random.
Yes, it's a random thing. You know, and it depends. See, the way they go about it is the way where they will go and strike, and they will go out of it without being arrested. You know, because if you ask me, why should they be killing people? Who are they? You know, in the event when you arrest, you succeed in arresting one or two, and you begin to make investigation, then from their confession, you will know the reasons why they are doing this.
Right.
But in this case, we are not seeing any arrest. Maybe at the end of it, they will just go and pick innocent people and begin to tell us that they are suspects and all that. You can't get the true information.
Exactly.
You know, from innocent people when you pick them up. So we must ensure that the real people that perpetrate this crime are people that should be arrested. Then in the course of investigation, we should know who they are, who usually sends them, and all that. But in this case, we're just left.
As a crime management expert, you just alluded that it's a random attack.
Yes.
I'm not sure what precipitates who should go, the attacks they should perpetrate. However, what would be your suggestion? I mean, if you have to suggest to the governor right now, I don't see, no matter how many men you have, how many boots you have on the ground, I don't see how it would be effective to have that number of policemen, military men really securing every community. So what would be your suggestion? It must be a very hard nut to crack.
Yeah. You see, unfortunately in Nigeria, citizens are not protected. If you ask me, I must say it.
It is true.
We are not protected.
Very often we have to do it ourselves.
Yes, even the ones that are protected by the law enforcement, like the ones that go about with policemen and all that, they even attack them. We've seen where senators, even individual wealthy men have been attacked.
Exactly.
You know, even with the policemen that they carry, they still attack them. Talk more of citizens are just going about their normal businesses without no police attached to them. You know, so we are prone to attacks. You know, and one of these authors said a society without crime is impossible. But yes, it's impossible. But it is already a notice that a society without crime is impossible. It's not left for the government to see how to provide security, since crime is inevitable. You know, now if you ask me for a solution, one of the solutions I've told you here, it's
the local vigilante.
You have to empower them. There's no need for all this ego thing, you know, rivalry amongst law enforcement agencies, you know, to try to see how Nigerians are policed, well policed and protected. What is wrong with a synergy between the vigilante group and the police? There's nothing wrong with the synergy. You know, with that, we will get results.
But wouldn't that be the same thing as this volunteer group that the governor had already?
Yes, they just gave it. It's just a matter of nomenclature.
Nomenclature, exactly.
You know? Yes, they are doing the duties of a local vigilante.
Exactly. So why are we still not seeing results?
The result, why we're not seeing results now is because they are not empowered. They need to be empowered. How do they need to be empowered? Arms. They need to have arms. Because these daredevils come with different ammunition and sophisticated guns. So how do you now face them? How do you now challenge them? They need to be armed. And you know, the governor, even in establishing this volunteer security group, he has been back and forth with trying to see how to arm them. He has written to the president for approval. At least they should carry some kind of arms, you know, that are not up to the class of AK-47 and the likes.
Right.
You know, double barrel, local guns and all that. They need to have something. It's not by carrying ordinary baton or whistle and all that. This one, it won't help. I bet you that, supposing these communities that these marauders have gone to attack, supposing they have armed vigilante,
exactly,
they would have gone at least 1 or 2 down.
And they would not have had the
number that
they have killed. Exactly.
You know,
so how would you say the president's body language is to the kind this unending killings in Benue State?
See, body language. Each time these attacks happen, we hear the president keeps giving condole. That's the first thing that he does. He will condole. But how long will he keep condoling? Lives are gone. Families are mourning, and you keep condoling. I don't think the appropriate thing is to condole. You know, the right thing for me after condoling, which is natural, is to see that a marching order. And I keep hearing of this marching order from the people ask that the president should give marching orders to the law enforcement to go and do their job, when the constitution has already empowered the law enforcement
to do their job irrespective.
Yes. How many times does the president give General Buba Marwa, the NDLA chairman, marching order to do? Is he not doing his job? He needs to be commended for what he's doing.
Exactly.
He's doing his job. So when I hear of this marching order, it amazes me. The guns that the law enforcement have is already a marching order. It's already a marching order.
So should we move now and start talking about the powers that the governors have? Should we include the ability to manage security in the state? That conversation has been rife lately when we see attacks such as this and the governors tell you it's out of my hands. Yeah. Should we have a state where the governors control the security apparatus?
It's of course you know that
the state police conversation is still very rife.
And you know a lot of Nigerians keep arguing back and forth on the kind of powers that governors exhibit. You know, if you give them that powers now to have state police and all, well, by the time they give them orders against their political opponents, and of course you know your guess is as good as mine. You know, so that is what for me the federal government is trying to say how to curtail. You know,
however, is it working because the lives of and properties of human beings are not being secured?
Yes, but moving forward, how do we now begin to see how to handle the issues? Some 2 years ago, the National Assembly, precisely the House of Reps, they set up a special committee on security issues, if you remember.
Exactly.
You know, and a lot of suggestions came from different quarters. You know, and I looked at what they asked that we should write about, and I went for how to address the security locally, and I made some suggestions in that report that they submitted to the president. I made like 7 suggestions, you know, how insecurity issues can be handled locally, and out of the 7 that I made, they took like 4 from it, you know. And for me, when all these suggestions or opinions, they sum them into a report, it ends there in that report or in shelves. Since they submitted that report to the president, how far have they gone with that report? You know, so we should be thinking about implementing some of these suggestions that stakeholders, professionals, security consultants and all that have come to put up 1 or 2 ideas that with this we think we can get result. With this I think we can get result. How far have they gone with that implementation from the House of Reps? That committee that they set up and they submitted that report to the president. This is our challenge. Reports, committees are set up, bordering on security. When recommendations are made, implementation is a problem. If they have all it takes to do it, why are we still in that situation? Challenges keep reoccurring.
I am very curious to know what your suggestions were. The 7 especially that the House Committee actually took. So I would really love to know, because we're having issues. I mean, it cuts across several states in in the nation.
Yes.
And I remember what you just said about the state police and how governors could take control of it for their personal. Exactly. I saw what happened, or rather the alleged I'm not sure how to put it now, where in the regional outfits, security outfits that we already have in the southeast especially, allegedly, yes, in Buagu, allegedly, some citizens are already pointing at some governors who are using it for their personal vendetta. So how can we have a level playing ground? And what are those 4 security suggestions you had that that got into the report? I guess that's something to celebrate.
Yes. Thank you for
even
that.
Though it didn't go even further.
Number 1, I talked about institutionalizing the local vigilante.
Right.
You see, how to let it be among the security architecture, you know, and under the supervision of the Nigerian police. Up to now, nothing is done in that regard.
Well, the president is waiting for the clause. I think the president assented to the bill, but for some clause that is supposed to be addressed, the vigilante bill. But we're waiting.
We'll keep waiting. When the issues are hitting us, we are looking at the way it is hitting us. Imagine 400 persons killed in 3 weeks.
Needlessly.
You understand? These are innocent citizens going about their lawful businesses and all that. At the end of the day, they are killed. And we keep playing around solutions to these issues or to these challenges. That's my worry. Now, I talked about institutionalizing the vigilante into the security architecture of this country.
Right.
But it's not done. My whole emphasis was on the local vigilante, on how to empower them. If you institutionalize the local vigilante into the security architecture, and they begin to see how to synergize with the other conventional security agencies that we have, we will get result. We have seen where police officers, other ranks in the military that have retired, gone back to their local communities, sitting there. What they do is they go to farm, come back, sit in one under a tree and look at how to take one local drink and all that. Such people, you can bring them on board, you know, inculcate them into this vigilante, the experience that they have.
Exactly.
It will go a long way. We know the solutions to our issues. And I keep saying that, let us try something. We have not tried, we are condemning, we are saying it will yield result when we have not tried. People will say that the vigilante, what they do is this, X, Y, Z. Let us try them. In every society or every organization, there are even in the police. Are there not bad eggs in the police? There are bad eggs even in the military. The authorities are trying to see how to fish out the bad eggs.
Exactly.
So why would we begin to condemn the activities of vigilante
when we haven't even given them a chance?
A chance. Yes. They will see where they have done 1 or 2 things that are wrong. But we should look at the advantaged role they will play more than what...
Especially if it is well regulated, like you earlier suggested. Exactly.
If it's well regulated, before people are recruited into the vigilante,
proper vetting?
Exactly. Proper vetting, proper background check, and people or people that will sign as guarantors, you know, before they are enlisted. There will be people of people that have a credible background, you know. If a local chief in my community guarantees 1 or 2, 3, 4 able-bodied youths that they should belong to all these local villages, it will go a long way.
Exactly.
In the event where they do otherwise, of course,
the local chief must know where to get them.
Certainly.
Probably because he already knows their background.
Exactly. So let us try and do something. It is about solutions.
Stevie Okwori, it's time to go for a short break. We're still discussing BENUE killings, Governor Ortom's ban of anti-open-grazing law enforcement. We'll be right back after this short break. If you are just joining us, this is Joy Asonye Live, where we've been discussing the seemingly unending killings in BENUE State. And we'll be discussing all of this with Stevie Okwori, Security, Safety and Crime Management Consultant. With your wealth of knowledge, I would like to know what you have so far suggested to your governor, and like we like to say in Nigeria, what has been his body language? Has he been very open to suggestions such as security consultants, from security consultants such as yourself?
I want to say that I've not had the opportunity to meet the governor on issues bordering on security. But I want to believe that when it has to do with security in the state, the bulk of the issue should fall on the office of the security advisor to the governor. You know, well,
advisors often also need advice.
Yes, but I don't want to begin to say that at that level they feel that they know it all. They didn't.
Stevie, you're either saying it or not saying it. Have they acted like they know it all?
If you ask me, I've not been at my level.
Right.
A lot of BENUE people know that I'm a security consultant. You know, if I can consult for states outside my state, you know,
with less security issues.
Yes, with less security issues. Because why wouldn't my state invite me to say, okay, Steve, can we have you on board? Whatever suggestion you have, you know. They say that a priest or a king is not respected in his domain or something. You know, if I'm respected outside my state, and they take 1 or 2, 3 advices that I put forward, even at the National Assembly level, where I made suggestions, you know, in my memorandum to the committee, and out of the 7, just the way I said, 4 of my suggestions were picked, because they wrote me that 4 of my suggestions, and I even saw the report. I even have the report, you know. So, you see, situations bordering on security, I want to say that all hands must be on deck.
That's right.
Nobody knows it all.
That's true.
Whatever you have, bring it on board. Let us see how to improve on the situations in the state. You know, the security advisor is somebody I know from a distance, very, very, very far. You know, but I want to say that I'm not really impressed with the way the issues are even being handled at the state level. You know, because a lot needs to be done when it has to do with security. Politics and all the likes should not even raise head close. Security issues needs to be dealt with professionally, you know. But situations where you want to recruit these volunteers and all that, and you begin to go to some families, you know, they turn into political.
Again, that Nigerian way of doing things, mentality comes in.
You know. Instead of going for people that are really ready to do the job, you begin to see how to, you know, play politics around it, family trees. You begin to look at how to trace and bring 1 or 2 people that you think you know, and it's not done like that, for me, if you ask me.
Right.
You know, so issues bordering on security needs to be handled professionally, and for me, if you ask me, I don't think it was handled in that regard. You know, so in doing that, major stakeholders needs to come on board. You know, they throw in their suggestions, and you see, form a committee. At the end of the day, a communique is raised. You know, you begin to look at the suggestions, and once they begin to implement these suggestions, you begin to see that the implementation goes down to the data.
Exactly.
But are they even doing it like that? I
mean, I know for one how passionate you are and saddened you are about what's going on with your state, citizens of your state. However, there's a new administration coming in soon.
Yes.
It's a different political party now.
Yeah.
It's a different person altogether.
Yeah.
So are you going to position yourself such that you can now make an impact and see that there are less of these attacks and your suggestions would follow through?
You see, yes, it's a new government that is coming on board.
New political party. I was very intentional about that.
No, it is not new. Even the current governor became governor of BENUE under the platform of the APC before he defected.
Well, at the moment,
so the only person that is new that is coming there is the governor-elect, coming from the priesthood. You know, he's running. The deputy governor-elect has been in politics. He was a special advisor on the local government. He was minister under the PDP and all that before he defected to APC. That he is deputy governor today. Now, the fact of the matter is that, yes, he's a new governor that is coming on board, but the other people that are coming alongside with him are old people that have been in the system.
Well, I guess I just had to put it right there when I said a new with another political party, because we saw that synergy break during Ortom. I mean, his presidency and the relationship with the presidency and the relationship with the BENUE governor seemed to be shaky. It was very shaky. It was a tussle.
I agree.
Hence, he's moving to another party. But I'm just asking that, would we see a better collaboration now that the president-elect and the governor-elect of the state come from the same party? That's why I wanted to quickly put it in without you noticing. Don't mind me.
Well, I expect that there will be a robust working relationship. You know, the governor-elect is already thinking in that regard of trying to see how to handle the situation of insecurity, situations where alleged headsmen come into BENUE and kill innocent people and all that. He's already working in that regard. I just expect, I hope that he will put a professional team, not a political team, a professional team in the area of security. You know, politics should not come anywhere close in handling these situations. You understand? Especially bordering on security.
I mean, if you can do politics with everything, but not when the lives of the people are at stake.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
Exactly. So in the event where our doors are open, if you ask me, my doors are open. In the event where they need my service.
Did you support? Because one of the criteria for picking political appointees in Nigeria, forgive me if I'm generalizing, but one of the criteria is, okay, he comes from a certain part of the state. He supported me. It's some sort of compensation, and so after the support, they now look at what you did study. What would you be good at? And then I like to think that's what happens. But were you supportive of this administration, or as usual you stayed aloof?
No, I didn't stay aloof. You know, at this point, when it has to do with security, lives and property, we're talking about professionals here,
right?
Technocrats.
Exactly.
You understand? They mustn't involve themselves in active politics. You know, of course, I'm not a partisan politician. You know, I'm not actively involved. I'm just a passive.
Right.
You know, yes. But it doesn't take the fact from me that I'm a political animal. You know.
You voted.
Of course, I voted.
Did you vote for the governor-elect?
I will say yes to that.
Of course.
Yes.
I won't go asking INEC now, would I? I mean, he emerged governor-elect, and I won't go asking INEC. He's only right. But say you have to play an active role in BENUE State to, I mean, curb these attacks.
Yes.
What would you like to do that would give it that kind of credence and the power to, you know, see through what you believe would stall such attacks?
You see, there's a lot that we do, especially for myself. Those of us that are into private practice, we do a lot of reading, we do a lot of research. We try to see how to look at our history, bordering on security, our experiences, the realities that is staring us at the face. Then we try to see how to profile solutions. You know, I started wearing glasses when I became a researcher, because I'm always on the system. You know, so we do a lot of reading, try to see that certain societies have experienced this same challenge. How did they get over it? You know, for instance, the issue of terrorism. You know, we have seen Pakistan, Afghanistan, and the likes. Their terror attacks is reducing drastically. They are getting over it. You know, how are they managing it? You know, we have seen communities where they had this same herders, farmers issue and all that, and it is not springing up the way it is happening in other societies.
Right.
You know, these are the issues. How are the states? How are they getting it right? You know, there's nothing wrong with, you know, special advisor in BENUE visiting a state that have success story about how they manage their own issues. You know, you go, yes, the environment might be different, you know, but you can go and pick one or two issues of solutions that you can come and apply in your state. So there's a lot that we need to do. You know, bordering on security, you need to be updated constantly. You know, it's not the one that because you are advisor on security and you think you don't need to study or you don't need to do one or two research to see how to improve on the situation in the state. No.
So let's talk about these marauders and alleged headsmen, killer headsmen, and all of that. Are there clashes? Land, I know sometimes it's land related. Are there community land related clashes in Benue State that could precipitate this kind of attacks?
You see, these attacks, one of the key elements that makes it spring up, it's the issue of where a typical BENUE man is a farmer.
Right.
In the event where the farmer has gone to farm for commercial and for domestic purpose, then the cattle herdsmen will come with their cattle, you know, eat up the crops, and you don't expect the farmer to see that and be happy about it. Of course, he will get angry, possibly attack either the Fulani or the cattle. And the event where such a thing happened, the herdsman or herdsmen will not see their cattle being killed, and you expect them to let it fly. You know, in the event where they see that they don't have the number to carry out such attack on the local BENUE citizens, they will go and see how to mobilize themselves and see how to come back for a reprisal attack. You know,
so it's been concurrently. It's been going on for years.
It has been going on, and of course, you know, one of the reasons why this is going on is because population explosion. Our population has grown or grew from the level it was back in the days. Don't forget that back in the days, these cattle herdsmen, they had their roots, how they come from up north down to the south, and they go back. Population, people have built on this their grazing route, people have farmed on their grazing route. So by the time they are descending from wherever they are coming from along that grazing route, in the event where they meet an obstacle, either a farmland or a building, what do you expect? They will maneuver their way. If they meet a farmland, of course they want to eat the crops that are on the farmland. If they meet a building, they will now maneuver their way and see how to continue their journey. And that is why every normal state now, because of the increase in population and all that, every normal state or society is asking for ranching.
Exactly.
You know, to see that these cattle does not move from one point to another point. How would that happen? It's not left for the government to provide these headers land for them to keep their cattle. You know, but sometimes you hear governors say they don't have land for ranching. If you don't have land for ranching, how would I get solutions?
Exactly.
We're looking for solutions here. So it's not the issue that of saying that you don't have land.
For some reason, we had conversations around you cannot impose the need for ranching since it's a privately owned business.
Yes.
And you must understand the sentiments that comes with it. I mean, if I want spare parts, if I want to do my spare parts business, or if I want to start selling something, I can't ask the government to impose that. But because it is quite a dire situation, how do you think we could get that balance where southern governors, I've seen about 17 of them from the southern part of Nigeria having that act within their state to prohibit open grazing. How can we have that balance? You can't prohibit open grazing but also provide land for ranching.
Exactly.
I would always remember in Cross River State, my father was a principal of a school. We didn't get to have those issues because there was a large land where he left space for cattle. What he realized was during labor days, they call it labor. I don't know if you went to, exactly. The students will have to clear and clear and clear. So his solution to that was, let's get the cows to come. The cattle can come and graze on this land, and that solved the problem. The cattle were happy being there, and the students didn't have to do all the labor work and all of that. How can we have this synergy and balance in the southern states, especially?
Yes, not only in the southern states, I think all across the 36 states of Nigeria. I
mean, the southern governors seem to be very opposing of the whole open grazing.
Yes, even BENUE and all the likes, they are also opposing open grazing. Now, it's not left for governors of these states to provide land. You show them a portion, a location, you know, where they will now see how to apportion those lands to themselves, the number of them. Let them be there. In the event where they go outside the allocated land,
that's when
they can be fined.
Exactly.
You know, but you're not even providing that land. You know, the federal government came with 1, 2, 3 policies. The state governors refused. They came with Ruga, yeah, which is rural grazing area. They said it's a Fulani name that was coined, and other gave it all sorts of interpretations that Nigerians started wondering that what is happening, as if the federal government wants to forcefully take over lands from states, you know. But the federal government is looking for solutions to these issues. Why won't the state governors also support the federal government in trying to look out for solutions? We're looking for solutions. Anywhere I find myself.
Is it something you believe we will get to a point where Benue State would also consider, so we don't have these clashes? Because it has gone now past attacking farmers. It's now getting into the IDP camps. These are people who already are victims of this attack.
Exactly.
So how is it something Benue State should, in your opinion, start considering?
Yes. From what the governor-elect, I've listened to him once or twice, and I see that he's heading towards that direction right, where there should be a discussion between headers, you know, and the state to say, okay, let us see how we'll find a solution around this thing. Let there be land. For me, allocate. We have vast lands everywhere. There are lands that are in Benue and other states that are unused. Why would you now allocate such lands to these people? And you put your eye on them, provide some kind of security and support for them in that. When I hear Nigerians comparing cattle rearing as a private business and motor parts selling, yes, but how many people are being killed as a result of people that are selling motor parts? So for me, that comparison is not, it doesn't go. It's very wrong for me. We are talking about people being killed as a result of these clashes. Let us look out for solutions.
Do you think the bad blood having over the years would allow for a seamless solution? Because I mean, if we've had bad blood over the years and you're giving me land, it means they know where to get these people. I mean, the communities now who must have been victims for so long. I'm not a security expert, but what do you think?
Yeah, we have seen where Rwanda is a case where
there was a genocide.
There was bad blood in Rwanda, but are they not living in peace today? So for me, it's a matter of consultation, awareness. You let them know. When you're in a situation, you run programs where you need to preach peace. National Orientation Agency can come in here and begin to talk to the local communities and headers that are presumed or assumed to be strangers in the land. You know, the need for peace, the need for where they can live together in peace and harmony. You know, once all this is done, there's room for forgiveness. If you ask me, you know, let bygone be bygone, and you try to see how the thief man needs the meat of a headsman. Every tribe needs that meat, just the way the headsman needs the food or the crops that the local people.
And Nigeria has the arable land.
Exactly. So what's our problem?
That's why you came on the show. I should ask you, what is our problem?
The problem is we should set politics aside. You know, it's not every policy of government that should be politicized. Right. You know, we should set politics aside and begin to look at it. You know, look at the nitty-gritty of it. How will this now solve the problem? You know, for me, if we set politics aside, we will get to where we're going.
If you have to say something to the new government that's coming on board on the 29th of May, in Benue State especially, and how they can curb these attacks, what would it be? We have run out of time so quickly. What would it be?
Yes, as a matter of priority, security should be his priority. No matter how infrastructure he wants to develop at the state, Benue citizens need to be alive to enjoy those infrastructure, you know. So security of lives and property, from the angle where I am coming from, should be his priority, because we have lost too many lives in Benue.
TV, Okwori, Security, Safety and Crime Management Consultant. Thank you so much for being part of the program today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, this is Joy Asonye live, but we have come to the end of the program. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Do have a wonderful evening.